How to manage your negative emotions, a kind of precursor to emotional intelligence. Hi, I am Dayo Samuel and I am a certified life coach and therapist. In this video, I want to walk you through a couple of things you need to understand about managing negative emotions and developing emotional intelligence. To get this video started, I would like to explain to you what emotions really are. In plain language, emotions are one of the deepest life experiences we have as humans. What that means is that every single person experiences some form of emotions or feelings or the other at one point or the other of their journey. I have a newborn baby, and from observation, I have seen my little baby go from high emotions to low emotions, from positive emotions to negative emotions. In fact, there are times that my baby will practically be laughing and smiling in 1 minute, and the next minute the baby is practically screaming and tearing up. So it means that emotions basically start from when we are young. So it's not when we grow old that we begin to have emotions. To be honest, emotions are psychophysiological phenomenon that occur in almost every human, and they're basically directed at someone or something. That means that whenever you have an emotion, whenever you have a feeling, it is either directed towards somebody or directed at something. Second thing you need to understand when I say psychophysiological is that psycho means that your mind is evolved. What that means is that there's a mental element to every emotion you experience. And then when it comes to physiological, it means that there is some element of your body involved in any emotion you experience at any point in time. Research has found that there are basically 8 emotions that we all experience as human beings. In fact, 8 negative emotions that we all experience as human beings. And as I list them now, you will probably find 1 or 2 of them as what you are currently experiencing, or you probably experienced within the last 2 weeks. Number 1 is anger, and this happens to result from expectations that you have. Number 2 is annoyance, and this has to do with behaviors from other people when it's not matching the expectation that you have. Number 3 is fear, which is a signal to warn us about something that's about to happen or something that has happened in the past, but it is trying to get us to pay attention so that we don't get to repeat it again. And then there is anxiety, which is number 4, and then there is sadness, number 5. Number 6 is guilt. In a previous video, I actually did a video talking about this guilt and how it ties to shame. If you want to see that, you can check the card up above my head right now, or you can check the description below for that video. And then number 7, you have apathy. And then number 8, you have despair. Of these 8 emotions that I've just listed now, a theory states that we experience a stimulus and the associated emotions at the same time. Let me give you a little context for that. So let's say I see a snake, I then become afraid. And because I become afraid, I begin to shake. I begin to palpitate, I begin to sweat, I begin to generate a lot of physical body reactions. Now, what you need to understand there is that the snake is a trigger for these 2 other responses. So if there was no snake, you wouldn't be afraid. If there was no snake, you wouldn't need to become nervous or to become anxious or to begin to shake. So what you need to understand there is that the snake is a trigger. That is a scenario, and that brings a state whereby you become afraid. And then based on previous experiences you've had with snake, whether it is a learned experience or an experience you have yourself, you will react, you will perform a behavioral strategy. And this behavioral strategy is based on your previous record. And so when you don't understand that you have a previous record with every single thing that is going on in your life, remember that every emotion is learned as early as when you were a small child, as early as when you were a kid. So if you get to experience this behavior here, what if you can actually check the state associated with that emotion? Or what if you can actually check the scenario that usually creates that emotion? And this is something that I typically take clients through in the fear resolve process, which is why you should consider being a part of the next fear resolve process. Now, in order to manage your negative emotions, there are 3 things you need to pay attention to. The number 1 is to learn to separate emotions from feelings. Now, according to positivepsychology.com, it says that emotions are basically human and generic, which means that all humans experience the same set of emotions. But then it now adds a second statement to it. It says that feelings can be subjective and personal. What that means is that every feeling you have is based on an experience you've once had. That's interesting, isn't it? Every feeling you have is based on an experience you've once had. So if you've never had the experience, you won't be having the feeling. But all other emotions are generic and kind of generalized. So every human experiences the same set of emotions, but feelings are a little more personal based on your prehistoric data that your brain has kind of captured. And when I say your brain, I'm referring to your amygdala, your hippocampus, and your hypothalamus. Those 3 kind of work as a subconscious mind or a non-conscious mind. So they kind of store emotions regularly, and they use those emotions to inform you what to do per time. Second thing you need to understand when you want to manage your negative emotions is closely associated with the first point I just shared now. Because emotions are generic, emotions are generalized, they are practically things that every human experiences. What that means is that every emotion you experience is or are completely normal. You are not just the only person experiencing the emotion. Every other human being experiences same set of emotions from time to time to time to time. So you need to understand that the emotions you experience are completely normal. Next thing to understand when you want to manage your negative emotions is to kind of consider a question I usually pose to my clients. What if the feelings or the emotions you are experiencing are basically some sort of information preparing you for a situation or for that particular situation? Feeling or the emotion you're experiencing right now, what if it's a warning? What if it's a safety signal? And what if it's a trigger for you to actually take action so that you don't just sit down and procrastinate on whatever it is you want to do? Or what if the emotion or the feeling is actually a motivator for you to do things that truly matter to you? So I want you to understand that your emotions, your feelings are not an end in themselves. They are basically serving as an enclosure of some sort of information that you need to receive. But if you continue to view the emotion or the feeling as a negative experience you are having, well, you probably have a closed mind and you will not receive the information that you're about to actually experience. That said, if you would like to master your emotions and be able to utilize all forms of negative emotions to your advantage, and you can literally register for that right now if you check the link below. So let me ask you right now, which of these 8 emotions are you currently experiencing right now? Is it anger, annoyance, fear, anxiety, sadness, guilt, apathy, or despair? Whichever of them you feel you are currently experiencing, leave a comment down in the description below and perhaps we may be able to talk through that together. Once again, I am Dayo Samuel. Thanks very much for watching this video. I'll see you next time.